Hi everybody, it's Mary Amin. I just wanted to do a quick video. I don't look my best. I've been in bed for the past couple of days due to, I don't know if it's my fibromyalgia or lupus, but I haven't been well. So it's not one of my good days. So forgive me for how I look, you know. But I'm just kind of here to answer any questions you may have. I know a lot of people have questions about what I do as far as seances and readings, and am I scared of spirits and things like that. So whatever questions you may want to ask me, it doesn't even have to be about spirituality or what I do. But hold on just a second. People are inboxing me. But whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. So finally got out of bed to do this video. Sorry again, I look a mess. I have bags under my eyes. You know, if you want to see something that looks good, just go pull up one of my photos or something. But whatever you guys want to talk about, I guess I'll wait a few more minutes for, do I have any links on Moorish Zodiac? What I do is I just type in the Moorish Zodiac Constitution and it comes up. You can get it in PDF and save it to your documents on your computer. That's what I do. Leo. Aquarius. Okay, everybody shout out what's your zodiac, since that's what we're doing. Oh, you're welcome, love. Sorry, I'm answering my inbox as well, so bear with me. Yeah, people are kind of inboxing me about readings right now. So, hi everybody. Again, I apologize for my rough look. I've been in bed for the past couple of days, not feeling well. I have my good days. When I feel good, I really, really feel good. When I feel bad, I really, really feel bad. So it's just, hey, Aquarius. Aries. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Aries. Wow, lots of Aries, lots of Aquarius. All right. Capricorn. I don't know too many Capricorns personally. You guys are a little bit different. I don't meet too many Capricorns. That's awesome. Virgo, what's up, Virgo? You guys keep me on point. Virgos keep me on track, really and truly. Let's see. The main question that I have, all right, the main question that I get from people is, am I afraid to communicate with spirits? Is it dangerous? Hi, everybody. Taurus. For me, I don't feel that it's dangerous because I have an awareness that spirits are around us. Spirits are in the trees, spirits are in the grass, spirits are in the air, in the sky. Spirits are everywhere. We live around spirits, so there's no reason to fear them. Our ancestors transition, you know, they're just on the other side, but they're still around us. So I don't fear them. You have natural beauty. Thank you. Even when I look like this. Thank you. I have to warn you guys, I am quite shy, so bear with me. I'm trying. But yeah, spirits are all around us, so I don't fear them, especially being aware of the fact that, you know, we are all spirit. You know, we're just in a tent, we're in a house, we're all spirit. We're going where they are. We spend most of our consciousness, I'm picking stuff. I have OCD real bad, you guys, so bear with me. I'm picking stuff up away from my computer. Yeah, the elements are spirit. So when you call on, well, me as a witch, I call on earth, air, fire, water, and I know those are spirits. I have an awareness of jinn. Now, jinn gets crazy. I've never encountered, I've never had experiences with jinn, and I don't care to, honestly. Oh, thunderstorms, I love them too. Yes, I'm a medium. I'm a medium. Let me tell you a little bit about how I found out I was a medium. When I was a little girl, playing in my room with my Barbies, I would always feel somebody touch my ear or pull my hair or touch me on the shoulder, but it happened to me so often that I didn't think anything about it. It was just normal, it was kind of like, whatever. I started out really, as I got older, having dreams about people about to pass away, and then they would pass within a couple of days. Let's see. So I would have dreams about people passing away, and then they would pass, and I would think, like, that's weird about me. And then I would have visitations from people in my dreams that have passed away, and they would give me prophetic advice that I could really use for my life. And so I started connecting with spirit that way. Being that I grew up in the church, spirits always do things to get my attention, but I'm unsure how to communicate. Okay, before I get on my story again, let me just address that. When spirits want to communicate with you, all they do, sometimes like with me, I'll hear tapping, especially like if I'm around a mirror or glass or something like that, I'll start hearing tapping. And then I know spirit is trying to get my attention. My sign, I'm an Aquarius. Yes, I do see colors around people. I see auras. That was one of the first signs that I knew that I was a psychic or I had some kind of special gift. I do see colors around people. But back to what I was saying. So when spirit wants to connect with you or give you information or what have you, they'll do some tapping. A lot of times if I have a water bottle next to me, they'll start making the bottle pop. If I have candles near me, they'll start messing with the flame. They'll dim the flame and make it bigger and what. Cancer. My son's a Cancer. My youngest, my baby's a Cancer. Yes, that started with me too. The lights going off and on. And I thought it was just like electricity. And then I started reading about starseeds and indigos. And I thought that maybe it was my own energy, that was making the lights go off and on. Really, when you get into poltergeist, it gets complicated because poltergeist can be a result of your own energy. If you're angry about something, your energy can be so strong to where it starts affecting the lights and things around you. The television sets, I went through all of that. And then you have the jinn, what I call jinn, the noisome spirits, the other kind of poltergeists that will affect things in your environment. Hi. Hi, Anthony. Yes, I'm very intuitive. Being intuitive, you can get self-doubt, where you're picking up information and you're kind of questioning, I wonder if this is just in my head, something that I'm thinking, or is this really like something that I'm picking up that I need to know? That's where you get into being able to learn how to discern between your own thoughts and thoughts that are coming in. And I can show you a way to discern how to do that. You get high frequency sounds. About that, a lot of us, psychic or not, we all are kind of psychic, but a lot of us are picking up high-pitched sounds in the ear. For me, it's always my right ear, but they seem to be, my candle, my cauldron, they seem to be lasting a lot longer and a lot louder for people. So there's something going on. there's definitely something going on. The earth is making us aware of. Spirit is making us aware of. So we really need to pay attention to things we hear. Don't take in everything you hear, because there's lying spirits out there. So you experience all of this with water bottle. Yes. In the mirror. Yeah. For me, when I go to bed, if I do go to bed, I don't sleep much. Except unless it's in the day. I sleep during the day. But if I'm trying to go to sleep, especially around 3 a.m., I'll start to hear the tapping on a mirror next to my bed. Spooky poltergeist. I'll have to tell you guys a story. I actually scared a spirit before. He got freaked out with me. So I don't just freak out human beings. I freak out spirits too. So let's see. I'm trying to answer everybody. Yeah, the water. Do they communicate through angel numbers? Yes, they do. I started seeing 1111 a lot right before 9/11. And I feel that a lot of us in our community have seen 9/11. You know, it was a awakening call. But yes, they do communicate with numbers. I notice license plates. I notice addresses. I notice numbers on receipts, you know. So, yeah. My daughter speaks a lot in her sleep. Sometimes she's not happy. I've had experiences with children, with very small children, and their parents ask me what's going on with them. A lot of times children are, in fact, talking to spirits, guides, ancestors, angels. They do. They really do. A lot of times children are gifted, and they get dumbed down or numbed down once they get older, because the parent says, stop talking to yourself, or stop, you know, whatever. So they shut it off. But most children are very psychic. They're very sensitive to light. They're very sensitive to sounds. So if you have a sensitive child, I beg you, please pay attention, because living in a world where you're sensitive to everything can be horrible. It can be absolutely, excruciating for a child. It's about time you went live. Yeah, it is. Do you have an interpretation for 9/11 and 155? It was a gateway. The number 11 looks like a gate, you know, the gate post. So anytime you see 11, you know that that's a gate. So it can be a gateway to manifestation. It can be a gateway for your spell work. It can be a gateway for contacting your ancestors and your spirit guides. Whenever you see 1111 or anything with 11, pay attention to what's going on around you, because that's definitely some angel, angelic being or guide trying to get your attention. So definitely pay attention to that. Freaking you out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to go back and read everybody's comments. This is hard to do with a phone. Okay, so back to the ringing in the ears. The ringing in the ears is what is called the sounding of the hounds. And just like with animals, we have a built-in warning system. We pick up noises that usually we're not supposed to be able to hear with the normal ear. But when our ancestors speak and they want to speak, they will find a way to do it. So if you're hearing ringing in your ear, what you want to do is you kind of want to tune into that frequency as much as you can. A lot of times you may hear a couple of words. And when I say hear, it may not be audible unless you have that gift to hear spirit. I don't so much have that gift as being audible. What happens with me is I tune into it, and it's like words come to me almost like hearing, but it's more like a thought. But I call it hearing because it feels like hearing to me. It's like an inner hearing. So 1111, yeah. 155, yes. When you get into numbers like 33, 44, 55, those are ascended master numbers. So that lets you know that an ascended master is trying to communicate with you because you're going through a certain cipher, a certain cycle in your life. So it's very important. Whenever you see any number sequences like that, just type them into Google and it will give you an explanation of angel numbers, you know. So Islam. Yeah, you hear music. Definitely. That is a big sign. That is the first sign of hearing spirit, is through music. You know, if you're doing something and a certain song comes to your head, comes to your mind, pay attention to the words of that song, because that's your spirit guides or your ancestors or other beings, and you know, who are around you in that area. They're trying to communicate with you. If you can imagine going through the rest of your consciousness once you've transitioned into being a spirit, not being able to be, how do I put it? Literally being flesh, to where you can manipulate things. You know, you can pick up a cauldron, or you can write something out to someone that you love. Being a spirit is a lot more difficult. And I actually sympathize with spirits because they have a hard time communicating with us. It takes a lot of energy for a spirit to communicate. So if you can imagine not being solid and trying to communicate or get it, you know, not being solid and trying to communicate with your loved one, you're going to do stuff like tap on the walls if you can. It takes a lot of energy to do that. Some people use Ouija boards. I don't touch those things. I had a friend that had experience with Ouija boards, and those things just no. But they have to pull up a lot of energy from you, from your phones, from your cameras, from your computers, to manifest. So if you get an apparition that you see in bodily form, that's a lot of energy. That spirit is taking a lot of energy to manifest. So when I see spirits, it's mostly in colors or orbs. You know, doesn't require a lot of energy. That is their conscious form. But if they start to, you know, appear in, you know, where you can see through them, but, you know, they appear, that's a lot of energy. I don't usually see those kind of spirits where they're bodily in front of me. I think I would freak out. I do. I think I would freak out. Yeah, shadows. Oh my gosh. Shadow people are real. They are real. Let me tell you. One time I went downtown, and it's so crazy because it was nighttime. It was kind of empty downtown, and happy face. I saw these dark, shadowy looking people, but it didn't dawn on me that they were shadow people. I just thought they were just mannequins or sculptures or something, because they were black. They were the color black. Okay. And they would be like on the park bench. They would be standing next to a light pole, you know, and just random places downtown as I was driving along. And it wasn't until many, many, many years later to where I learned about shadow people, to where I was like, Eureka, you know, were those shadow people? Because when I ask people about the statues, the black statues downtown, nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about. So either I'm losing it or those were shadow people. So, and I don't think I'm losing it. Not yet. There was another question. Yeah, Doreen Virtue. She's awesome. Yes, her interpretations are absolutely correct. She's amazing. She helps a lot of psychic children. So if you feel like your children are psychic, look up some of her stuff. They're very helpful. When I first got started, you know, watching her, listening to her stuff, reading, you know, some of her books. So she's awesome. I think I even had one of her tarot card decks. Her, can't think of the name of them, but it was some time ago when I got them. Let's see. I'm trying to answer the question about spirit communication. I'm trying to get back to it. What about seeing demonic spirits always in outer body experiences? Okay, if you're seeing demonic spirits, the first thing you need to do is question, are they demonic? Because a lot of times beings in another state of consciousness may look frightening to us, because they're not in human form. So we call them demons, but they may not be. They may be there to help you. Okay, but you're being prejudiced because of the way they look. You know what I'm saying? We have beings from higher realms that come to help us, and we have beings from lower realms that come to help us. The beings from lower realms, in my experience, and I don't have much experience with beings from lower realms, but from what I understand about them, is they're neither good nor bad. They don't have that concept. What they are, how they say we're ascending and our DNA is changing and we're developing into something else. We're becoming something else, a different type of being as time goes on. Well, that's the same thing with the lower beings that we call demons. They're just on a lower vibration. They just haven't learned the difference between right and wrong. They just exist. So that's why when people in, let's just say, Satanism, the cults and stuff like that, they'll call on lower dimensional beings because they're neutral. They don't know the difference between right and wrong. So they just do what you tell them to do. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't summons, well, I don't conjure or summons demons to do things for me, but I do have higher and lower beings that protect me. I really do. Let's see. Hi, okay, Sarita. The other day my cat, you know what? What's so crazy is a lot of people are seeing black cats right now. Like my oldest says that the other day a black cat went in front of him, and then some other synchronicities happened after that. So I think these black cats are coming to give us some information. He was calm but kept looking around. Yeah. Your light in your bedroom has swung a few times. That will happen. Yeah. Stuff doesn't move around me. It's more like the lights going off and on, the television, acting crazy, or my phone. Whenever I'm doing a seance or, doing a reading and their ancestors want to talk or show up, my phone will start tripping bad. Agreeable or disagreeable? I'm not sure what you're asking me. Now back to the spirits. Trying to give you an example of something I've gone through as far as spirit. Man, there's so many. There's so many. Are those being higher and lower angels? If you break down the word angels, what you're getting is angle. So when we speak of angles, we're thinking about like the 4 cardinal points. When we think about archangels, that's really what we're talking about, is elementals. We're talking about elementals. I do see angels as being beings as they're depicted, because it's just easier for me to I can't find the words, but it's just easier for me to relate to them that way. And that's really why we make gods in human form. That's really why we make angels and things like that in human form, because it's easier for us to connect with them than to connect with something that's invisible. That's just my opinion. How do I get more in touch with my spirit guides? Really and truly, your spirit guides have been getting in touch with you. It's more of we don't pay attention. So we really don't have to get in touch with them. They're just there. You just have to learn how to communicate with them. You can start by just asking for signs. If you're going through something or you have a question about something, what I used to do is if I had a question about something, before I go to bed, I would ask my spirit guides for the answer. And sure enough, when I wake up in the morning, I have an answer in my head, and it absolutely works. It's absolutely true. So you might want to try that. With me, it's a little different how my guides, ancestors, angelic beings, and other beings communicate with me. Because I've allowed them to take partial possession of my body. So they communicate with me mostly that way, to where they're moving my head or speaking through my mouth. If I'm sitting at my keyboard, they'll move my eyes to certain letters, and they'll type, sort of type out letters for me. So that's how I do it. You can start practicing that. What I do is I start my breathing, my deep breathing. And then I sort of still my body. I make my body go still, to where I'm just so relaxed that if the wind blows, it will take over me. You know what I'm saying? So I get still, and then I wait. I'll ask the spirit to come. If I'm doing a seance with a person, I'll ask that spirit by name to come and to speak to us. And I'll wait until I feel them around me. And then I will feel them sit down inside of me. And then once they do that, I'll ask them for confirmation. And usually they'll give me confirmation with a strong head nod. So it's no doubt that they're who they say they are. Then I start asking questions, specific questions that the spirit would only know. So that's how I get confirmation. Gizmo, that's a nice name for a cat. Oh, I'm sorry. What else can I tell you about connecting with spirit? You can't go into this thing with fear, because my nose is getting tickly. You can't go into this thing with fear. If you're going to connect with spirit, if you're going to connect with ancestors and other beings, you have to be sure within yourself that you are in control. No matter what, you're in control. If you get scared while you're talking or communicating with spirit, say goodbye. That's the word I use most of the time, is goodbye. And I'm firm when I say it, and they leave. So, see, them spirits confirmed this love for you. Awesome. Thank you all. Let's see. So that's what I do. I allow spirit to partially take over. There is a thing called total possession. I'm not there yet. I'm sure that I do have that ability, but I'm an Aquarius. I like to remain in control, total control. So I'm not there yet. It's not something that I choose to do as far as total possession. So, what else can I tell you about spirit? Have I had any scary, frightening experiences with spirit? I can't say that I have. I haven't had any frightening experiences with spirit. They've all been pretty benevolent. But I was getting on the story to, I did frighten a spirit before. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. I'm sorry, if this spirit is around, I mean no disrespect. But I was laying in bed. It was about 3 a.m. And I kept having the same experience night after night. And this experience was waking up at around 3 in the morning. And I said, wait a minute, there's something to this. Something keeps waking me up. So one night the spirit decided to wake me up, and what he was doing was he would get close to my face while I'm laying down. He would get close to my face and he would scream at me. He would scream, "Wake up." He would and this one time he screamed in my face, and I actually opened my eyes. I actually woke up and I saw him. I saw him just as plain as day. He was melanated, brother. He had this huge afro, so that made me think that he came from the 70s era, the 60s, 70s. And when he realized that I could see him and that I wasn't afraid of him, it was like, you know how you see in the movies how the camera pans back and it looks like the person is floating back? That's what he did. He floated back away from me because he was so startled that I could see him. So I freaked him out. Yeah, do you ever get scared? I would be, I don't really get scared. I don't really get scared, and I think I've built myself up to that point because I feel like the gift that I have is far too important for me to be scared of it, because not too many people can do what I do. So I feel it's a gift. So I feel it's just my responsibility to use that gift, and you know, I can't be scared if I'm going to help people. You know, if I really want to contact my ancestors, I can't be scared of them. You know, they tell me that I'm family. You're not afraid of family. What else can I say? I'm such a person who relies on God, so I'm not sure about other spirits. Okay, so in Christianity, and I'm assuming you're a Christian, God is spirit, right? And when you pass away and you go to heaven, you're not in bodily form anymore. You're in spirit. So you're trying to go where spirits are. You're trying to go where the spirits are. So when we lose people that we love, it's very painful. Yes, we do miss them. But you have to also realize, and what makes it a little easier to deal with, is that we're going where they're going. We're trying to pull them back here and like, oh, you know, I don't want you to leave and I hate that you're gone. But we're actually trying to go where they are. Just keep that in mind. So when it comes to spirit and God, I feel that God, in that sense, and I'm speaking from a Christian point of view, I feel that God is a spirit, like water, like a body of water, and we're just drops of that same water. You know what I mean? So there's no fear in God. There's no fear in spirit, because we're all connected anyway. You're just going to go right back to the source. So there's no fear in it. Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, there is somewhat of a danger. I just haven't experienced it, you know, and I don't, let me knock on wood. I don't plan on experiencing, you know, angry spirits, you know, some of these spirits are thought forms, you know, especially like if they're angry spirits, what we would call, we're going to say demons in this case. You know, a lot of that stuff is just thought forms that were placed on you. You know, you're at work and somebody gives you like an ugly look, you know, at the copier. You know, those are thought forms, and you can feel them, and then they manifest. You know, things that happen to us in childhood, those are our real demons. Those are our real demons. Those are the ones that you need to exorcise. Okay? Because most demons, what we call demons, come around you because they're trying to protect you from something, or they just want to hang out. You know, they just want, maybe you're a drinker and they used to drink when they were here. They just want to hang out with you. So good. I'm glad you're loving this. You can hear them in your heart, but I ignore them. Well, it's an option. It's an option. Just because somebody knocks on your door selling cookies doesn't mean you have to open your door. So some of us opt to communicate with spirit, and some of us opt out of it. And either way is okay. This is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. With all the stuff that we see in these used to freak me out. You see through the human and see those spirits. That's awesome. That's awesome. When you do that, you can cast them out. If you see that this spirit is causing someone to be depressed, but you should always get permission. You should always get permission. Don't just go in and start attacking people's spirits, because I get offended when people try to lay hands on me and get rid of my spirits, and don't touch my spirits. Let's see what else. I was scared to sleep alone as a child. I saw in the dark. The shit sleeping alone in the dark I did not like. I stay out of jail and prison because of it. That's because your instincts are telling you, and this is absolutely true with children. Children instinctively know that there are things in the dark. I won't lie to you. There are things in the dark. I see in the dark. Some of you have heard me talk about my autism. People with autism, I'm on the other side of it, to where I'm able to function normally. But and I'm so sorry about those that can't. But we are very sensitive, and we can hear things that people don't hear. We notice things that go by us that people don't normally notice, because people with autism, we see through our peripheral vision and not directly head on. So we're able to catch those quick things that go by. So we definitely see in the dark. I definitely see in the dark. So I can definitely tell you everything that moves in my room at night. I see it. I hear it. And that's a lot of times why I don't sleep at night, because I'm woken up at 3 a.m. anyway, with spirits wanting to communicate and talk. So what else? I get angry. I have to maintain control. Always remember what my aunts say. Please watch your temper. Anger is not bad. Anger is an emotion. It's a feeling. It's not bad to feel anger. You're supposed to feel anger. It's what you do with that anger. You know what I mean? It's how you channel that anger. You can channel that anger and direct it in a good way, especially if you're into spell work. You can direct that anger to make your spells more powerful. You know what I mean? So anger is not bad. Let's see, what else? Scared to sleep alone. I'm trying to read everybody's comments. Sometimes I feel cold air around my feet. That could be definite. I'm not going to say definitely, but that could be a sign of spirit. Because one way to tell, or a few ways to tell if there's spirit around you, is hot and cold sensations, tingling in different areas of the body, headaches is my number one, a change in your mood. If you're happy, then all of a sudden you feel angry, or you feel sad, and you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling this. It may not be you. It may be a spirit that's in the room with you that's feeling these things. Or it could be somebody that just sat down in the chair. They just got up and you sat down and you're feeling what they're feeling. So there's a lot that goes into it, especially if you're empath. You're empathic like me. Islam, Rick, how are you? Who protects you? Your ancestors protect you. Everything that you call God protects you. Nature protects you. You protect you. Your own spirit self protects you. Everybody has a second self. I have a second self, and my second self always talks to me when I look at my photos. I can actually, it's weird. Forget I said that. But your second self protects you. You can actually send your second self ahead of you in the future to set things up for you. You can do that. Yeah. Let's see what else. There are certain exercises you can do to cultivate your gifts if you feel that you're a medium, if you feel that you're a psychic or a strong empath or anything. That's why I got into teaching psychic development, because I feel that being psychic and being intuitive and being able to do spell work and communicate with our ancestors is very important for our movement. It's going to take more than us. You know, this is more than a battle in the flesh. This is a spiritual battle we're in. So this is why I got into teaching psychic development, to help people cultivate their gifts. I started cultivating my gifts and became a strong psychic, I guess it's probably been about 5 years. Actually had a very good, very, very good teacher. He is in Ifa. He's been a medium since childhood. Amazing experiences. So I recommend that anybody that's trying to get into psychic development, and if you're really serious about connecting with your ancestors, that you get with a teacher. You know, you can go at this alone, but it's going to be probably longer for you to cultivate your gifts if you do that. If you have a teacher that has been doing this, it will come quicker for you for 2 reasons. When psychics connect, we sharpen each other's gifts. So his gifts, my teacher kind of rubbed off on me just by being in his presence and just by sitting at his feet and learning from him. I got stronger that way. He actually gave me some of his ability through the spirit. He gave me a portion of his ability. So when you're a strong psychic, you're able to give your gifts to certain people. And I was doing that with my students. I would give them just enough of my energy to wake them up and open their third eye a lot faster. But I stopped doing that because people would take me giving my energy to them very personally. So I don't do that too much. I don't share my energy anymore that way. So my ears feel like they get blocked for a few seconds. Yeah, that right there, in my experience, is a change in atmosphere. That's definitely a sign of spirit, unless you have ear problems. That's definitely a sign of spirit, because it indicates a change in atmosphere. When that happens, I would say that's a strong spirit that's really trying to connect with you, because that takes a lot of energy. It really does. Let's see. Am I crazy? They thought I was. Yeah. Most people with gifts, especially when you're little, you get told that you're schizophrenic. You get told that you're bipolar. You get told. I was never told these things. Fortunately, I was never degraded in that way. Some of these children get put on medications and told that they have ADHD and ADD and any kind of other D, and and they're just gifted. They're just, now there is schizophrenia. There are conditions out there, but for the most part, most of these conditions are because we are indigenous and we connect with spirit. Now, the other white meat may be a little different. I have some opinions on that. But a lot of them are gifted too, because a lot of them have indigenous blood. So don't assume that every non-melanated person has a calcified third eye. That's not true. That's not, I know so many Caucasian psychics. I really do. So don't assume that. What else was I gonna say? It's in my experience, with teaching classes and opening the third eye and chakras and stuff like that. It is a lot easier for indigenous people, melanated people, to open up. Usually in my classes, the third eye is woken up or opened by the fourth day. Whereas with them, it may take 3 months. So there is definitely a difference there. Please share your energy. Some people say they get my energy off my pictures, my photos. So, and, you know, some people tell me that, you know, they've experienced me, you know, watching over them at night. My spirit definitely travels to my friends at night. I get this over and over, that my spirit, you know, will show up in their room if they're going through something. My spirit, my second self, would definitely show up. I don't know. So, can we talk more? Absolutely. Let's see. But back on being told you're crazy. I think sometimes being a medium and being an empath and, you know, you're trying to function normally in society can drive you crazy. I think it can drive you crazy. You know, especially if you're hearing things and you're seeing things, and when you tell people, you know, they're looking at you like, you know, okay. It can definitely drive you crazy. My experience in the workplace is interesting. I have difficulty keeping jobs for various reasons, but definitely when I'm in the workplace, I have to try really, really hard to tune people out, because I can feel what they feel. I know what they're thinking. In school, when I was in school, especially elementary, I had a very hard time because I was always crying, because when I walk into a room, I could feel what people were feeling. I could feel I could sense what they were thinking, and it was hard. And I didn't know why I was crying all the time, but that's the reason. I was picking up everybody else. So, let's see. You're receiving my energy? Awesome. Awesome. One thing that helps my energy, because I always have to replenish, and a lot of you know that I can't go out in the sun much anymore, unfortunately. But I get a lot of my energy from the moon. I actually do a ritual called drawing down the moon. And if you see some of my photos look like I'm glowing. And that's really why, because I have moon energy inside of me. It lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks sometimes, that moon energy. It's very powerful. If you're interested, I can teach you the drawing down the moon spell. Nothing is needed for it. You don't need any candles or anything like that. It's all about drawing down the energy of the moon into your being. It's extremely powerful. I recommend drawing down the moon before any major event in your life, like graduations, weddings. You know, draw down the moon if you need extra power. You know, if you're feeling unsure about yourself, if if you're starting businesses, draw down the moon energy. It's powerful. I know things before they happen, so I ignore it. I can't keep a job either because I know demons are there. That's what I say. I can't keep a job because there's so many demons. But that's so true. That is so true. No, honestly, I have struggled with jobs mostly because of my health. I feel that I'm a healthy person generally. I think I'm oversensitive to stuff, and it makes me ill. I get pain in my body, and I believe a lot of times it's because of spirit, or if I've done like spirit work the day before, or if the night before there was a strong spiritual contact. I have fibromyalgia, and my trigger is on this side. And spirit, when I do seances and readings, spirit enters me through my right side. So all of that gets irritated for me. So once that gets irritated, it throws my whole body off. So it's not mucus. Stop telling me it's mucus. Stop telling me I need to alkaline. I know all these things, okay? I know about the herbs and all of that. This is what I do, okay? Moon ritual, yes. I try not to share spells and rituals like that because there are, I don't want to say crazy people, but there are people that will take the information and use it against people, and that's not what it's for. You know, it within myself, because I feel like I'm a good-natured person, I would hate for somebody to take something that I taught them to use them to take advantage of people. One of those things that I notice in the conscious community is that there are a lot of us that are psychic that have the ability to astral travel at will and things like that. When I first got on Facebook, man, there are a lot of men specifically. I haven't really experienced this with women, except one. I'm not gonna lie, except one. And she was... But the men will use their abilities to rape women in the spirit. In our community, in our conscious community. And this is why I don't share body photos of myself. That is one of the main reasons why I don't share body photos of myself. Because people that have certain abilities feel like they become godlike, full of ego and arrogancy. And they use this ability to astral travel to take advantage of women. It's a very real thing. Me personally, I've gotten raped twice in the spirit. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. So I'm careful with whom I teach this stuff to. If you ever come to me for a class, I'm gonna interview you. I interview everybody. You know, I want to know what your intentions are, you know, with teaching the craft. But I'll try to share the moon ritual on my page because it's innocent, and I think that the moon is for everybody. You know what I mean? So let's see. I think those diseases related to people that have strong... Yes. I find that most people that are empathic, like myself, are more prone to autoimmune disorders. We are. Can't explain it, but we are. You know, most psychics I talk to, they have some sort of autoimmune disorder, whether it's arthritis, which is autoimmune, allergies is autoimmune, a stomach ache is autoimmune. So lupus is just this technical word for autoimmune disorder. You know, they make it sound so major, and it can be life-threatening, you know, but it's just a matter of adjusting to it and taking care of yourself, you know, eating right. I don't always eat the right things. I'm not going to lie to you. I live in a household where people like mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese and, you know, the whole bit. And I can't always buy a separate grocery list. So, you know, it does become difficult, and it does affect me, you know, the wheat products and stuff like that. It does affect me. So I have to be careful with what I eat, and more so now that I'm becoming even more sensitive as I get older. I'm becoming more sensitive to foods that I used to be able to eat. Like I have ginger and garlic, you know, for blood pressure. And it absolutely works, but the lupus, it's a trigger for lupus, for autoimmune. It's not good. So I've had to lay off my favorite thing in the world, and that's garlic. I can eat garlic just like candy. Do you think they're conscious? Are you meaning to say conscious of rape? Yes. Yes, you feel this. Yes, I'm not. I wouldn't lie to you. You feel this. I'll share a little bit of what happened to me. I was on Facebook, and there was this guy, and you can tell he was indigenous. He was really into the indigenous way of life, and I respected him. You know, it was my first conversation I had ever had with him, and I felt his energy, like it was really, really strong. And I was kind of new to my own energy, you know, and how to use energy and stuff like that. So, you know, something told me to back up, to back away from him, because he was becoming challenging to me. And I kept telling him, look, you know, I'm kind of a newbie here, so, you know. But I had a feeling that he was going to try something. And so I was trying my best to put up protection around me. It's just this feeling you get, you know, kind of like walking down the street, you get this feeling that somebody's behind you. It was that kind of feeling. So I did everything that I could to, protect myself. I went to bed that night, and for some reason I had a hard time getting comfortable because I kept hearing, it's hard to describe the sound. It's almost like when you turn on a television and it has this hum. That's what it is. That's how I sense when there's something in my room or around me. It's like I hear this hum. So I heard that, and I knew that there was something in my room. And as the moments went by, I started to feel a presence on me, and it was heavy. It was heavy, and I couldn't fight it off. I'm almost in tears now thinking about it, because it's a bad thing when you're trying to fight something that you can't see. So I have a problem with people in the conscious community using psychic ability and this kind of stuff to take advantage of women. And I know a couple of women that do it too. I don't know why they do it. Thirsty? I don't know. Let's see. I know I missed some questions, and I'm sorry. Evil spirits. I don't really fear evil spirits, and I have to speak that out of my mouth, because once a so-called evil spirit, if you want to call them that, hears that you're scared, they'll start picking on you. So you have to always let spirit know that you're not afraid. And if you do become afraid, call on one of your ancestors that you know that they ain't afraid of nothing. Like I call on Marie Laveau, like she stays with me. So, you know, I call on her. I call on several other beings that are always around me, especially like the spirits of our ancestral Nedger. I call on them a lot because they're very powerful. Oh, they're very powerful. So having all these beings around me causes me not to fear so much, because I know if something goes down, they're going to take care of it. And I know how to cleanse myself. I do. So, yeah. Let's see. You call your granny? That's good. Our grandparents love it. I know when one of my grandmothers passed or transitioned, my mother and I was sitting at the table, and you could smell her perfume as if she just walked by. And it was just me and my mother both, you know, in tears, because we knew it was her. She wore Avon. If y'all know anything about Avon's perfumes and creams, you know it has a very distinct smell. So it was definitely her. Let's see. What else can I tell you about spirit? I guess the number one thing I can say is don't fear. Don't fear them. Don't fear them. Yes, there are jinn. I've never encountered jinn that I know of. I do work with darker energies, because the Christian church, and I'm not trying to pick on the Christian church, I try to go light on the Christian church, because I realize I have Christian friends. I don't know why. Y'all are friends with a witch, like, okay. But when you know that you're powerful, and you know that you are God or a part of God, you won't have fear. You won't have as much fear. And the more you do this, the more you connect with your ancestors, it becomes the norm for you. It does. But like I said, this is not for everybody. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, especially if you don't know a whole lot about spirit and how to sense them, how to decipher whether they're benevolent or are they trying to do you harm. Like I straight up ask them, are you here to harm me? Some will say, yes, I'm here to harm you. And then I say goodbye and they leave. And then, some will say, no, I'm here to help you. I have a message for you, or, in so many words, and those I keep around, or I'll dismiss them and say, see you soon. And, they can come and go as they will, once I get comfortable with them. I won't be afraid anymore. Christians are dumb. Not all of them. I don't think Christians are dumb. I think being that I used to be a Christian, and I don't feel that I was dumb, it's just that I feel that we really go into a hypnotic state, because what a lot of people don't realize is when you first go into the church, what's the first thing that happens when the preacher is preaching? The first thing you do is fall asleep. And there's a reason for this. It's hypnosis. You're being hypnotized. The Bible is actually a spell book. It's a spell book. Jesus' words are written in red ink. We use red ink for our spells, for contracts, if we don't use blood. There's lots of blood rituals in Christianity. If you're a witch, okay, if you're a witch, you know that Christianity is witchcraft. That's all it is. It's witchcraft. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to put anybody into a shock, but it is what it is. I grew up in the church. I went to school to learn religious philosophy, which was online. I had a ministry. I was married to a preacher. I read my Bible backwards and forwards. And as many times as I've read the Bible, there are certain scriptures in there that I had never seen or paid. I would read it, but it would go over my head. It wouldn't dawn on me that they're talking about human sacrifice, or it wouldn't dawn on me that, the God of the Bible is talking about abortion, that he's cool with abortion. Okay. When I say that, people question, God of the Bible, cool with abortion. What are you talking about? Well, there's a point in the Bible where God tells his followers, and I'm thinking it was Yahweh. Okay. Because there are many gods in the Bible. So when Christians say they follow God, I'm like, well, which one? But Yahweh tells his followers to go into an African tribe and slice open the bellies of the women, the pregnant women, and let their babies fall to the ground. If that ain't abortion, I don't know what is. Okay. Another thing in relation to that, in the so-called days of our captivity, our ancestors' captivity, because they were victims of war and conquest, they weren't slaves. These brutal Caucasian people would slice open our ancestors' bellies if they were pregnant to instill fear on the rest of the people. And this is the God you serve. So when people ask me, why am I no longer a Christian? That's why. Okay, 23 million African people were killed, brutally murdered in the Bible. 23 million African people. So how are you African? Oh gosh, y'all gonna get me preaching. I'm gonna get off of that. But Ra is still the God of the Bible. In certain sections, yes. The Bible is a mixture of Jewish mysticism, Kemetic spirituality, the sun book, the spell book. That's where you get the Psalms from. It's also mixed with Sumerian myths, it's mixed with Canaanite mythology. You know, I know Moors would say it's not mythology, but Canaanite mythology. It's mixed with a whole bunch of cultures, because you have to understand that in those days, it was all about conquering land. Okay? So when certain people from certain tribes would go into another tribe and conquer, they would adopt their gods. They would be like, oh, that's cool. Let's add that, you know, and they would change the names. So all gods are the same God, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's a lot of evil stuff in the Bible. Lots of evil stuff. Like, a lot of people don't know about Japheth and his daughter. She was a sacrifice for Yahweh. I think it was Yahweh that she was sacrificed for. Yahweh loves the smell, and I don't know how this spirit can smell, but Yahweh loves the smell of burnt flesh. From cover to cover, reading the Bible, it's just, I'm sorry, y'all, it's just the grossest, most evil thing I've ever read in my life. It really is. If you can't tell me that you've read the Bible if you think that it's a moral code. And you know, it's my opinion, but I know the difference between right and wrong. My mama made sure of that. And the things that are in the Bible are just absolutely wrong. Like, how could you make a woman marry her rapist? That is the most evil thing. No woman I know that has been raped wants to marry her rapist. And if she doesn't marry her rapist, she's stoned to death. That's not moral to me. I'm sorry. So I can't use the Bible as a moral code. Noble Drew Ali says, don't throw your Bibles away. And I have like 7 Bibles. I used to have more. But when I get into the Bible, I'm getting into the esoteric knowledge. You know, there's exoteric and then there's esoteric. I use the Bible because I know that it's about the chakra system. I know it's about the inner sun in comparison to the outer sun. I know it's the science of the self, the science of the cosmos. So that's how I see the Bible. I no longer really go to the Bible because I'm like in another grade past that. There's more to it. So the Bible is like, you know, giving somebody in elementary school a coloring book to me. It's not what I base my science on or my morality. But you will hear me every now and then pull up a Bible reference because I feel you can find inspiration anywhere. I mean, if you're in hell, you can find inspiration in a block of ice. Okay. So that's how I look at it. So certain Bible quotes will come to me if I'm going through certain things, or if I'm trying to get a point across to certain people, because everybody's pretty much familiar with Bible verses, so they can relate. So that's pretty much the only things I use the Bible for. I've tried to get into the Psalms, using the Psalms in some of my spells, but it just doesn't connect with me. Because like I said, I'm into a stronger, heavier science. So I go directly back to the source, which is ancient Kemet, which is where the Psalms came from. So I go to my Sun book. I have a book of shadows with, some of the original words of the Psalms and stuff. So, yeah. Yes, Old Testament is worse than the New Testament, I think. They're not even the same. They're not even supposed to be in the same book, to be honest with you. The Old Testament is based on Sumerian mythology. Some people will debate whether it's mythology or true to life. It's also based on Canaanite mythology, which is where we get into God El and all the names of El. El has always been known as the kind and compassionate God. So if I was to pick a God out of the Bible, it would be El, not Yahweh. I would choose Yahweh if I'm going to war with somebody. I would choose Yahweh because he gets real. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so The Old Testament is Canaanite, Sumerian, and all the other, ancient African cultures, Mesopotamia, you know what I mean. Some Kemet, yes. Some of the stories in Kemet that are actually real people that they transformed into myths, giving them other vibrational names and stuff like that. But it's really based on the science of the cosmology. That's what it is. Now, the New Testament is based on other stuff. It's based on Mithraism, which is the first Christianity. Mithraism, the worship of the sun, the conquering sun, the unconquerable sun. That's what it is, the unconquerable sun. It's also based on Osiris, Heru. It's also based on Apollonius of Tyana. It's also based on, the Old Testament is based on the Jewish rabbi, I think it is. But the New Testament is not even relative to the Old Testament. They just tried to make it fit. It's not, just like the book of Revelations is not part, it wasn't supposed to be part of that book. It wasn't supposed to be part of this putting together of this book. The book of Revelations was not written by John, people, with no last name. I don't know any author that writes something and doesn't include their last name, for one. The Baptist is not his last name. Or Patmos, I think it is. The book of Revelations was written by the oracles of Delphi. Look that up. One of the oracles of Delphi was a woman. And she would have visions and dreams and prophecies. And she was also into astrology and the zodiacus. So, and she would have these dreams and visions and things like that. And she would write about them for her day and time or in the near future. The reason why the book of Revelations seems so familiar to us today, it looks like, what's going on today is based on the book of Revelations, is because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything we've done before, we're going to continue to do until we learn the lessons. So it's just like you're seeing the same cycles of the same things. So that's why they seem familiar. The cosmos is orderly and it goes in cycles. So don't just feel like the Revelations is for us and this is a doomsday and all this stuff. It was for several centuries. You know what I mean? So let's see. What else? No wonder as a child. Oh, my phone's going dead, you guys. My father asked for my blessing of knowledge, wisdom. He told me. Wow, John the Baptist. Yeah, John the Baptist is actually Aquarius. That's what John the Baptist is. The New Testament is based on cosmology and astrotheology. Look that up. A great person that speaks, not a great person. I don't know this man personally, but he's sort of an expert on astrotheology and cosmology and religious philosophy, and that's Jordan Maxwell. I don't care what you say about him. That man knows his stuff. Okay, so if you really want to dive deep into the Bible science, I would definitely look up Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell. He's excellent in explaining the stuff. Let's see. I have to go here because my phone is dying, but I'm so glad the opportunity to kind of answer some of your questions and sort of explain to you, because everybody keeps asking me, aren't I afraid of contacting spirits? I feel that it's not like I have a choice. Spirits have always contacted me. It's just that I've sat my behind down and been like, okay, I can't escape this. I may as well make this part of my life. So I ended up cultivating my gifts, learning how to spin and activate, clean my chakras, keep my third eye open and active. What else did I do? As far as the craft, I got into craft work I don't know, it's just always been an instinct for me to make teas and nature. It's always been that way for me. I don't do hexes on people. I try not to. But witches definitely serve justice. That's what we do. We do, you know, there are witches that get revenge, and I call those witches warlocks. I don't like warlocks. I do not like warlocks. They make me itch. But we serve justice. You know, so if there's a dog in the neighborhood that's biting all the children and nobody will do anything about it, we will take care of that. Definitely. So I hope I hope this was enlightening. Let's see. Don't go plug the phone up. This is gonna be 3 hours. I might be back on later, a little later. I'm going to try to get something to eat in my stomach because I've actually been in bed all day and I haven't really eaten anything, which is not good for me. But yeah, so I do want to get into doing live seances. I'm a little shy. So doing these videos and, you know, stuff like that is helping me. Oh, the hearts right back at you. So I do want to get into doing live seances. The only thing, my only hang up with that is that I do sort of go into facial changes, I want to say. That's putting it nicely and lightly. So it may feel a little embarrassing for me, but I feel that it's kind of important too for you all to get, you know, that familiar with what it looks like, what it is, you know, in order for you to start communicating with your ancestors yourself. Because our ancestors are here to help us. They haven't left. I have photos that were shared with me from Kemet that there's spirit orbs around the statues, around the relics. Our ancestors are still here. They're waiting for us to say, help us. But we're too afraid. We're too spooked out. But they're here. Our indigenous ancestors to this land, America, they're here. We carry our African ancestry with us. Our ancestors are in our blood. So it's only imperative to call on them when we need them. Yes, I'm shy. I'm very shy. About photos, people ask me, why do I take so many photos? It's because I'm shy. Several years ago, when I first got on Facebook, I went through a bout of depression, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm here to educate people. But I went through about 6 months of depression, and I decided to start taking a photo of myself every day. And I did that. I did that for a whole year. And it was amazing to see myself in photos and, you know, my face, and, you know, I could really see myself, and it helped me. So I just got into the habit of taking photos. So don't think I'm just being vain or thirsty or anything else that, you know, people say. But that's why I got into taking photos, because photos, how you can see the soul of a person through photos. That's why many witches don't share photos, because you can do a lot of things with photos. But I trust you guys. But yeah, so that's why I got into photos, and also to get out of my shyness too. So doing videos is going to be a big step for me. It's going to be a big step for me. So I got to get my lighting right, because this lighting doesn't work. So yeah. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll try to be back on a little bit later once I get something to eat and charge up my phone. Islam, peace and love to everybody. Love and light. See you soon. Bye.